Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys could make run at former $118 million Pro Bowl QB, says analyst. With Dak Prescott facing an uncertain future with the Dallas Cowboys, adding a veteran quarterback could have increased appeal to the front office. Heading into free agency, DallasCowboys.com's Patrick Walker pitched former Tennessee Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill as a potential option. The former Pro Bowler remains a free agent, and given the latest news on Prescott, this idea is worth revisiting. Here is what Walker outlined about Tannehill in a February 13, 2024 story titled, Open Market, Intriguing Free Agent QBs for Cowboys. At first glance, I felt this one might be a bit of a reach, but then I considered the fact Tannehill will be 36 years old this coming season, and I do believe his days as a starter are now behind him, Walker wrote. That doesn't mean he's incapable of being a worth backup, though, and that's why I've put him atop this list. A look at Tannehill might be worth it in the realm of possibly being a potential upgrade to Rush, while also providing insurance in the event Lance doesn't progress the way the Cowboys would like to see as they ramp up work on their developmental QB program. The fact I'm intrigued by this at all means there might be something there to consider. Tannehill would bring an impressive resume to Dallas as a former Pro Bowler with 151 career starts. The veteran remains without a home in free agency after completing a 4-year, $118 million deal with the Titans. Spotrac projects Tannehill's market value to be a reasonable 1-year, $4.9 million contract. Tannehill's best statistical season came in 2020 when the quarterback threw for 3,819 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, while completing 65.5% of his passes. The veteran added 266 rushing yards and 7 TDs on the ground in 2020. Dallas already has 3 quarterbacks on the roster with Prescott, Trey Lance, and Cooper Rush. The addition of Tannehill, or another quarterback, would likely mean the end of the Rush era in Big D. Rush had multiple suitors during the 2023 free agency period before re-signing with the Cowboys. Could Dallas land a late-round pick by trading Rush? Tannehill may not be an ideal solution for 2025 if Prescott bolts, but it gives the Cowboys some insurance just in case the worst-case scenario plays out with the team's star quarterback. All eyes continue to be on Prescott, with both sides prepared for the quarterback to play out the final season of his current deal. This would allow Prescott to hit free agency in 2025, but CBS Sports' Josina Anderson reported the Cowboys do not intend for this to happen. Regarding the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, I'm told the team does intend to work out a contract for their 3x Pro Bowl quarterback and also has not closed off potential to consummate a deal for him this year, per source, Anderson detailed in a March 27 message on X. While there's currently no offer or imminent talks, the team is not presently charting a path to let Prescott go to free agency, despite some chatter to the contrary, I'm told. Prescott's entire contract history with the hashtag Cowboys, from his rookie deal, tagging, extension and restructures, are all macro indicators of the eventual goal. Zach Moss reveals why he picked Bengals over Cowboys in free agency. Running back Zach Moss had several suitors in free agency, including the Dallas Cowboys. Ultimately though, Moss ended up signing a 2-year deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. During a recent appearance on Up and Adams, Moss explained why he picked Cincinnati over other options, like Dallas. The team's offensive approach and personnel were emphasized as determining factors. Cincy just made the most sense, Moss said. From the structure of the offense and how the offense is played, and kind of the scheme of the offense and what they want to do. It's a lot of shotgun offense, a lot of inside zone gap scheme runs and things of that nature. It's hard to turn down a guy like Joe Burrow, guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and just all the talent on both sides of the ball, he added. It's so much space, that really intrigued me, Moss said. Being able to play in a box when you only got 6 guys, maybe 7, and if there's 7, it's kind of gonna be real hard for them to defend the pass game. So it's just something that I was like very, very intrigued about and super excited to be a Bengal. After putting together a career-best campaign in Indianapolis last season, Moss is expected to have a heavy workload replacing Joe Mixon in Cincinnati in 2024. Moss will join second-year runner Chase Brown in Cincinnati's new-look backfield, though Moss is clearly the more experienced player in the duo. Brown tallied just 44 attempts for 179 total yards as a rookie last season. While the addition of Moss is a boon for the Bengals, missing out on him is tough for the Cowboys given the current state of their running back depth chart. Dallas lost Tony Pollard in free agency and didn't sign any veteran backs to take his place. They now have a lack of experience at the position, and while they could still draft a back, there's little reason for fans in Dallas to feel good about what the Cowboys' ground game will look like next season. Cowboys predicted to trade projected $115 million star for top draft picks. If you're going to start over, you might as well really start over. And for the Cowboys, if there's a chance that quarterback Dak Prescott is not in the future plans, then there may well be no point in having wide receiver Ceedee Lamb in the future plans either. That is the thinking at the USA Today site Cowboys Wire, which is advocating in its latest mock draft a pair of mega trades that finish off the process that pretty much already began during this year's NFL free agency process, the dismantling of the Cowboys as we know them. Trading Prescott is one move. Trading Lamb is another. Already gone are 5 starters from 2023, including stalwart left tackle Tyron Smith and running back Tony Pollard. The Cowboys have added precious little on the free agent market and declined to make the one move that could have kept the team together while also proving a new direction, firing Mike McCarthy and adding a new head coach. Instead, the Cowboys' strategy has been to keep McCarthy and sit on their hands through free agency. And if the 2024 season flops as badly as 2023 did, we're likely in for a complete roster demolition. Why not just start it now? In addition to reaping a draft haul for Prescott, Cowboys Wire is advocating a 2-pick haul for Lamb, sending him to the Pittsburgh Steelers for their first-round pick and their third-round pick. As the site notes, that package is similar to the one brought in by Tennessee when it traded A.J. Brown to Philadelphia. Here's the logic from Cowboys Wire writer Katie Drummond: if Dallas is going young at quarterback, signing Lamb to a long-term deal makes little sense. Instead, this adds more draft capital to a rebuilding offense. Dallas now has 3 first-round picks in the 2024 draft along with a ton of cap space moving forward, with only Micah Parsons in need of a top-of-market extension. That's, essentially, how the Cowboys and their fans would have to think about a post-2024 season if things continue on their current path. Prescott replaced by Trey Lance and, likely, another young player. Lamb replaced by a player from this draft, which is loaded with wide receivers. It would be Micah Parsons' team, certainly, but it would look very different going forward. Of course, if the Cowboys put Lamb on the trade market, the hope would be that he would draw more than what Brown drew for the Titans in 2021. The impetus would be the same: money. Brown wanted a big extension from the Titans, but they were not budging off what they wanted to pay him. So the Titans traded him, and the Eagles gave him a 4-year, $100 million contract. Lamb wants to be the highest-paid wide receiver in the game. Spotrac projects him to be close, at $28.8 million per year, with a 4-year, $115 million total deal. Brown was coming off a year in which he missed 4 games and totaled 869 yards on 63 receptions. He had been excellent in his first 2 seasons, with 1,051 yards as a rookie and 1,078 yards in year 2. Brown scored 24 touchdowns and averaged 69.7 yards per game in his first 3 years. Lamb blows those numbers away. He is coming off a year in which he led the league with 135 receptions and totaled 1,749 yards. He averaged 78.0 yards per game in his career and had 102.9 yards per game last season. The Brown trade is a starting point, but if the Cowboys move Lamb, they should certainly expect to add more than 2 picks, even if they're good picks. All of this is a long shot. It's likely the Cowboys play things out, grind through the 2024 season, then are left with a mess of an offseason. But they could get ahead of things by making some bold trades ahead of this draft. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Ceedee Lamb? Leave your opinion in the comments.